পুরোটা ছিল উইদাউট কোনো পাঠিয়ে দিই উইল গেট হিয়ার So should we start? Okay. So before we start, I would like to have a very brief introduction of the participants. Myself is Hemanta Sarkar, Assistant Director, Bureau of Applied Economics and Statistics in the Govt of West Bengal. I'm with the West Bengal Statistical Service and heading District Statistics Office, Bureau. Right? With me to assist me, Milon Day. He is a data collector. He is working in the field. He is engaged in collection and compilation of data. And mainly he is engaged in agricultural statistics right now. So I would like to start from the left side. Just your name and what you are doing presently.
Sir, I am Shri from Vishwabharati Binay Couple, Research Scholar.
Okay, fine.
So myself, Rani Mandal, Research Scholar of Department of Education, Vishwabharati.
Department of Education, fine.
Department of Folklore, Polar Business.
Oh, you are doing a research? MPhil. Okay, Department of Folklore. Very interesting. Very good.
I am a senior trainer from History Department, Research Scholar.
From this university itself?
Yes.
Okay, Vishwati, History Department. You are doing a research?
Yeah, now I am doing coursework.
You are in coursework, right?
My name is Shri. I am a research scholar from University of Hyderabad, School of Management Studies.
School of Management Studies in the University of Hyderabad?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
I'm Soumya. I'm from School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad. Research scholar.
You are a research scholar now. And your subject is?
Management.
Management, okay, fine.
From University of Hyderabad, Department of Management Studies.
You are management. So all three of you are from Management Studies in the same university, isn't it?
Yes.
Fine.
I'm Govt from Geography Department and Research Scholar.
Of this university?
Yes.
Okay.
Monisha Mandal, Pushkar Mahavidyalaya, Assistant Professor, Physical Education.
Physical Education Department, fine.
I'm Rajiv Devi from Beauty Parallel Department, which is University.
Which department?
Beauty Parallel.
Indo-Tibetan Studies. Department of Indo-Tibetan Studies. You are a research scholar or you are a teacher? Research scholar.
My name is Shri, PhD student, Department of Public Policy and Public Administration, Central University of Jammu Kashmir.
Central Jammu. You are doing research in public relations.
Policy and Public Administration.
Okay, policy and public administration. Very nice. And you?
Shri from University, Department of Education in
MPhil. Okay, fine. So we have got a variety of streams here coming from different universities. Mostly you are from Vishwabharati. Some we have got from Jammu and 3 from Hyderabad. And I don't know about the missing participants who have not yet arrived. So today actually we have a plan of introducing you to the Indian statistical system. How the Indian statistical system of collection, compilation of data management has evolved over time. And next we will introduce you with how a sample survey is conducted. Because for a research work with MPhil or PhD, you need to undergo different sample surveys for collection of data and all. So how the steps you have to follow, the steps associated with the sample survey, you need to be acquainted with. And finally, we will try to acquaint you with the design of a questionnaire, how a questionnaire is designed. And finally, I would like to explain to you the use of official statistics in planning. So you will be interested as you are doing a research in public relations and public administration sort of things. So how actually official statistics is being used in management, in planning, in administration of public business. That is one important thing. So I will start with the evolution of Indian statistical system. Right. I will not be very much elaborate on this particular presentation. I just want you to be acquainted with the system. How, what is the present system of Indian statistics? How it has evolved over time. So let us start with the first slide. Because I think that every individual who is planning a research, is undergoing a research, or a person who is associated with research work in any capacity, and a person who is associated with execution of plans, teaching and learning of theoretical statistics, should know the importance of statistics. Why it is important? Why statistical data is important for your business, your research, your execution of plans, right? We need to have good statistical data for good plans, right? So we have to define a good statistical data. How do you define good statistical data? Right? According to my opinion, it is actually, as per the opinion of experts, good statistical data is defined. Statistical data. If we start with statistical data, to qualify a data set to be good, you have to satisfy three basic criteria. One is adequacy, second is accuracy, and third one is timeliness. I have actually got a very bad handwriting, so please bear with me. So statistical data, if to elaborate, suppose in the Govt of West Bengal, we are planning to have a study, impact study on introduction of GST, right? You know GST? Goods and Services Tax, right? So if we want to have an impact study on Goods and Services Tax on the small business owners of West Bengal, suppose this is our subject, right? So how do the data associated with this particular subject, if it is required to be good, then what criteria we need to satisfy, right? Suppose there has been a representation from the small business owners to the Chief Minister of our state that introduction of GST has impacted us badly. We are most affected class due to introduction of GST. So and cabinet, West Bengal cabinet, suppose wants to make a representation in the parliament, right? They want to make some amendments in the GST bill, and they want to place it in the Union Parliament, right? So what they need to do, they have to capture some data on the fact of the field. But actually, the small business owners have been impacted badly on account of the introduction of GST. Should we to collect data from different districts of the state? We have got 23 districts in West Bengal. 4 districts have newly come up, Kalimpong, Paschim Bardhaman, and Jhargram and Alipurduar. With these 4, we have got 23 districts. In every district, we have got urban areas, rural areas, right? And small businesses actually operate in both areas, in rural and urban areas, right? So we need to have data from all these sectors. Suppose, and we have a timeline. Suppose government wants to submit the proposals in the winter session of the parliament, right? So you have a time up to 15th of December. You start your survey from 1st of November, say for example. So you have got a 45 days time to conclude the survey on small business owners. You have to compile the data and disseminate the data on the subject within 15th of November, so that you can work out certain things, you can get the reports ready and submit it to the parliament in the winter session. Right? This is our plan. This is the plan. So now, suppose data have come from 19, within the stipulated time, data have come from 19 districts. Simply because of the fact that 4 districts are newly created one, there has been inadequacy of infrastructural development and all. So data collection has not been done. There is no statistics office there, and statistical functionaries there in these districts. We have not got the data. So we have got data on 19 districts within the timeline. So the data, right? So the data is not adequate. Adequacy, if we need adequate data, then we have to have data of all 23 districts and all sectors, urban sectors, rural sectors. Suppose there is an agitation in the rural areas by the small business owners. A person who is going to undertake the survey is not being able to complete the job. So data from rural areas have not come. So data is not adequate. So adequacy criteria is one important criteria. If you want to plan something, you have to have adequate data. So that is depending on the subject, you have to have the data on all the different areas covered. This is the first one. Am I clear?
Yes.
Second thing is accuracy. You have collected data. Within 15th of November, you have been able to collect data from all the different sectors, from all the 23 districts, suppose. But the data is erroneous. There are a lot of errors in the data. We have not even been able to stratify the different small businesses. Small businesses may come from agriculture, from non-agriculture. Right, from organized sector, from non-organized sector. Certain small businesses are registered, some units are not registered. So suppose you have not been able to capture all this. So the data is erroneous. There may be difficulties in the sampling frame even. Right. So data is not accurate. So that data doesn't satisfy the accuracy criteria. So it is not a good data. First it was adequacy, second it is accuracy. And third is timeliness. We have a timeline of 15th November. We have got data from 19 districts within 15th November, and the rest of the 4 districts we are getting it, say, in the month of February. So that is not serving our purpose. So Government of West Bengal is not being able to place the recommendations, the proposals for amendment in the proposal within the stipulated timeline. So it doesn't satisfy the timeliness criteria. So it is not a good data. So if you need to have good statistical data, it has to satisfy all the 3 criteria of accuracy, adequacy, and timeliness. Right? Are all of you comfortable with English?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Sir, when we are talking about adequacy, so you said like if we are taking the example of small businesses of rural as well as urban areas.
Right.
But sir, if we see the business functioning of rural areas will be completely different from the business functioning of the urban areas.
Definitely so.
So sir, can we at that point of time compare between that this is giving us accurate results, and can we say that our data is adequate or accurate?
Adequacy criteria has to be satisfied with the coverage. Adequacy concerns with coverage, and accuracy concerns with the quality. Right? Accuracy concerns with the quality. So what you were talking of, that is differences of different business owners in rural and urban areas. Actually, that pertains to when we will conduct the study, when we prepare the questionnaire, when we are preparing the sampling frame for selecting the ultimate stage units, that is maybe households, maybe businesses. Then we'll have to frame the questionnaire in a way we can compare. So that will be, I will show you in the next presentation that how actually we decide about the coverage, geographical coverage, subject coverage, reference, etc. So now I will not like to elaborate on the details of developments. I will just touch upon the main developments that have taken place in our country over time. So constitution of a statistical committee was done in 1862, and there's the first time in the history of Indian statistical system it was a questionnaire was prepared. So first time, informally, a questionnaire was prepared in 1862 to collect statistical information on different subjects, right? So, and this led to the publication of the first publication, official publication, Statistical Abstract of British India in 1868. This is the first official publication, right? Now, things have changed over time. Next slide. Things have changed over time. One important organization came up, that is Director General of Commercial Intelligence and Statistics. This organization was responsible until 1914. Until 1914, this organization was responsible for compilation and publication of almost all the data pertaining to all different sectors. Demography, crop production prices, rainfall, industrial production, and all. Right. This was subsequently there was separate directorate was created, but DGCIS, you may be acquainted with the name DGCIS, Director General of Commercial Intelligence and Statistics. That was a very important organization which was responsible for collection, comparison, and dissemination of data till 1914. Right. Next slide. You know, first population census. This is also a very remarkable incident in the history of Indian census system. Is a conduct of first population census. That was in 1881. Subsequently, you know that every 10 years, that is decennially, population census is conducted. The last census we have got in 2011, and that is the latest census report we have with us, on the basis of which we do a lot of research work, right? So that is the first population census conducted in 1881, and you know that census exercise is conducted by a dedicated office in the Government of India, that is Register General, ORGI, Office of the Register General of India. It is a very important office, ORGI, that is Office of the Register General of India. It is responsible. That period also in the British India, also there was a permanent office of the Register General and Census Commissioner. That ultimately changed its shape in different manners, and ultimately we have got the ORGI office right now, which is taking care of this. Then, you know, development of statistical system changed altogether after 1951. India got independent in 1947, and planning period started in 1950. Right. So first 5-year plan we got in 1951. So with these developments in Indian history, we know there has been naturally statistical system also there has been a lot of developments after independence of our country. So there is Central Statistical Organization. You may be familiar with the name Central Statistical Organization that came up, and later there has been a lot of developments. I will show you in the next slides. Next slide. I would like to mention a few names about Professor Mohananavis. You must know the name Professor P.C. Mohananavis, Professor Prashanto Chandra Mohananavis. He has the maximum contribution in the development of Indian statistics till date, and he is considered to be the father of Indian statistics. You know, he is considered the father of Indian statistics, as Robert Fisher is known as the father of world statistics. In India, we consider Prashanto Chandra Mohananavis as the father of Indian statistics. He has made a notable contribution in the development of large-scale sample surveys. Today, what we get in you see in agricultural production, we get the data on agricultural production, yield rates, and all, agricultural prices. First, Prashanto Chandra Mohananavis is the first scientist. You can call him scientist, you can call him statistician. He's the first person who showed us how to get data on agricultural production, agricultural area under crop, because it was a huge task. You know, different crops are being produced in the field, and how to calculate. We can't conduct a complete enumeration survey. That is, we can't go to each and every plot where the crop is being cultivated. So we need to have a sample survey design. So he's the first person who introduced this sample survey, large-scale sample survey method, by following which we are now able to conduct the crop cutting experiments and all, and getting the data on agricultural production. Right. He was the first statistical advisor to the cabinet. Government of India in 1949 he was appointed. This is about Professor P.C. Maronowitz. Next slide. I will not go into the details of these developments. There has been a lot of changes in the system. In October 99, in the last slide, you can see the Department of Statistics and Program Implementation. It was merged with ministry. It was actually declared as a ministry. It was a separate ministry. Before that, we didn't have any separate ministry for statistics in our country. Before that, in Australia, in Mexico, in Venezuela, in Canada, in so many developed countries, statistics had a separate ministry in the rank of cabinet ministry. We got a cabinet ministry in India about statistics in 1999 only. There was a Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. That is MOSPI. MOSPI. Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation in the Government of India. Next slide. So in the present statistical system, if we talk about the present statistical system, Constitution actually guides us to the distribution of functions in different departments. You talk of any department. You take food and supply, you take panchayat and rural development, you get any other department. Everywhere, the functions are governed by the subjects which are classified in the different lists as enshrined in the Constitution of India. Then we know there are three lists. There is a union list, there is a state list, there is a concurrent list. So statistics is in a concurrent list, right? In the concurrent list. And what we know, what happens when a subject is covered in a concurrent list, if there is a tussle between Government of India and state government, the central rule will prevail definitely. So rule-making power is with both state and central governments. But when there is a clash of interest or clash of administration, there is a clash of interest from the point of view of administration and management, then naturally the central rule will prevail. Right? That is there is a basic pattern that we follow. So in statistics also, what we have got, the distribution of functions of different departments in the Government of India and the state government has been governed by the way Constitution of India has dictated the distribution of subjects, right? So what we see, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, what I just referred, is responsible for collection, compilation of and distribution of data centrally in regard to almost all subjects, barring a very few where state has got specific interest in collection of data on that particular field, right? So MOSPI is responsible for that. Next slide. At the same time, we have got large-scale statistical operations like population census. I just told you. Similarly, there are annual survey of industries, economic census. Economic census, do you know? Economic census is actually a census exercise, as we do in population census, which actually covers the different economic entities. All economic entities are being operated within the territory of our country. We, be it registered, be it not registered, unregistered, be it in the organized sector, be it in the unorganized sector. We cover all economic units. So that is an exercise used for economic census. So the survey exercises of this nature, these are done by Government of India actually, and the Government Ministry, and Indian Statistical Service officers are taking charge of the different businesses, different activities undertaken by the particular department. And the nodal agency in the MOSPI is a central statistical organization who is responsible for the planned development of the statistical system. He actually, CSO actually dictates how things should be going, things should develop in different states as well. How statistical system of the states will be developed, that will also be dictated by the CSO. So CSO has been empowered with the nodal agency, and it is responsible for bringing about coordination of statistical activities amongst different departments. Next. You see in the slide, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, MOSPI, we have got three different wings. One is Central Statistical Office, just I was discussing about. Next is National Sample Survey Organization. I have been associated with this organization, NSSO, for 7 years in the capacity of a superintending officer and computer center. So there are 3 different wings of this MOSPI. And CSO again have 5 different divisions. National Accounts Division, you know, National Accounts Division is responsible for bringing out national income data, bringing out estimates on GDP of a country, of different states. It is responsible for bringing out national income data. Economic Statistics Division is responsible for conducting economic census. Right? Coordination Publication Division is responsible for publication. Social Statistics Division is responsible for coordination among different departments as well as undertaking research in social statistics. And there is a training division. Similarly, National Sample Survey Organization, I will spare one sentence for that. National Sample Survey Organization is the largest sample survey organization in the world. We should take pride in that. That NSS is the largest sample survey organization, is the largest infrastructure in respect of human resource, in respect of technical know-how, in respect of development. It is the largest sample survey organization in the world. National Sample Survey. It has got 4 different divisions. Field Operations Division, FOD, which is doing the field surveys. There is a Data Processing Division, who processes data after collection. There is a Survey Design and Research Division, who prepares the design of the survey, sample design and all. And there is a Coordination Division, CPD, which is actually coordinating amongst different departments. Next. In the state system also, as we told, there are large statistical wings in certain departments, in health, in Panchayat and rural development and the like. And the nodal agency in the state government is Bureau of Applied Economics and Statistics, to which I am part. And West Bengal Statistical Service officers, to which I am a member, are actually discharging their functions in different state statistical departments for undertaking survey designs, research, collection, compilation of data and all.
So similarly, Indian Statistical Service, there is a separate service in West Bengal.
Yes, that is allied to West Bengal Civil Service, right? As it is, ISS is allied to IAS. Similarly, WBSS is allied to WBCS. So, in every state there is a state directorate of economics and statistics. In West Bengal, the name of the directorate of you will see the name DES. DES Hyderabad. You will see DES Bangalore. DES Jammu is also there. So in West Bengal we have got the name. The director uses name as Bureau of Applied Economics and Statistics. Next slide. In our state, next slide. In our state, it is under the Department of Planning, Statistics and Program Monitoring. Slide. You just go to slide show. Go to slide show. Slide show. From current slide. From current slide. From current slide, right? Okay. So this is under the Department of Planning, Statistics and Program Monitoring. Just 3-4 months back, we had a separate dedicated Department of Statistics and Program Implementation. As we have got a separate department in Govt of India, MOSPI, we had DOSPI. But in just a few months back, there was a merger of certain departments in the state of West Bengal, and we were merged with Department of Planning, and we have got a new name, the Department of Planning, Statistics and Program Monitoring. Okay, now we have got 4 different wings in Bureau. That is Agricultural Statistics Office. Agricultural Statistics Office is responsible for bringing out data on agriculture, agricultural production, yield, agricultural prices, minimum support price, and so on and so forth. ISO is taking care of industrial statistics. There is a Socio-Economic Survey Office which is conducting a survey on socio-economic issues, and actually it is participating in the Government of India survey on a matching sample basis, which is being done by National Sample Survey. It is participating in the matching sample basis, right? And there is General Statistics and Survey Office, which is taking care of the technical things. That is GSSO. And under ASO, under Technical Statistics, we have got 5 different divisions. You know, there are 5 divisions in our state. Recently, we have got 2 more divisions. It was earlier it was 3. That is Presidency Division, Bardhaman Division, and Jalpaiguri Division. Recently, we have got 2 more divisions. One is Malda Division, and another is Medinipur Division. Right. So we have got in Presidency Division, we have got Howrah, Nadia, Kolkata, North 24 Governor, South 24 Governor. These 5 districts, 5 or 6, 5 districts. In Bardhaman Division, we are in the Bardhaman Division, the Birbhum district, Purbo Bardhaman, Paschim Bardhaman, Birbhum and Hubli. We have got 4 districts. In Jalpaiguri Division, we have got Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri, Alipurduar, Coachbehar, and Kalimpong. Out of which Kalimpong and Alipurduar are recently created. Malda Division, we have got Malda, Uttar Dinajpur, Dakhin Dinajpur, and Murshidabad. We have got again 4 districts, isn't it? And in Medinipur Division, we have got Purbo Medinipur, Paschim Medinipur, Jharkhand, and Purulia and Bankura. That are 5 districts. So in each and every district, we have got a dedicated district statistics office. There is a dedicated district statistics office which is responsible with the sole authority for collection and compilation of data on any subject. According to the plan of the government, we collect data. We don't collect data on the whims and fancies of the department. So it is dictated by the government. So in each and every district, there is a dedicated district statistics office, and that is headed by one assistant director. I am presently heading the district statistics office, Birbhum. And within the charge office, in the control of the charge office, there are different range offices in the subdivisions as well. Subdivisional offices are headed by one inspector field, and they are again assisted by different assistant investigators. So we have got a very broad setup. In Birbhum, we have got 75 to 80 people to work in the statistics department who are taking care of different developments. Right. Next. We are presently covering 20 key statistical activities. You can see almost all statistical activities we are covering. And I must say that Bureau of Applied Economic Statistics or BAES in other states as well, that is the only organization, I reiterate, that who can give you the statistical data up to sub-district levels. Even National Sample Survey can give you data up to block level. So block level figures, block level data, barring census exercise, that is designed for a particular thing. Data on caste, religion, and some participation in workforce, etc. Barring these data, you can't get anything in population census data. But barring that, you can Bureau, BAES or BAES in other states, the only organization who can give you, who brings out publications covering sub-district level data, right? So these are the different next. So we have got these are collected by us only, and next, and these are line. We are actually entrusting the different line departments for we are tying up with the line departments for a collection of data on these housing statistics and all. Previous slide. Housing statistics, birth and death. You know, birth and death ratio statistics is being taken care of by census, Directorate of Census. But we are actually doing an independent work on this area because they are getting a register, just writing the name of the person taking birth and is dying, the age and other things. But we are trying to generate tables out of that, trying to utilize the data for different so many other purposes, loss of human resource, etc. Health, mortality, morbidity, education, literacy, all these transport statistics, the new thing we are doing. Transport statistics.
Environmental statistics.
Right, environmental statistics we are doing. We are actually tying up with Govt,
climate
line department. We are getting data on different issues, not only climate. Environment, we are tying up with forestry. We are tying up with meteorology department. So many other departments we are tying up with for getting data on this. Transport statistics is one thing which even Government of India has not even developed a organized system of collection of transport statistical data. Right. So fine. Next, there have been recent developments. I must say that collection of data has always been very difficult. These people go to the field for collection of data and face a lot of challenges. There has been political tensions in different parts, education. Whenever you go to collect data from the field, people will ask, how am I to gain from that? That is the first thing. How am I to gain? Why should I give you the data? So how will that sub me? So it becomes very difficult to convince people. I will show you in next slide what we have thought about that to combat that. Next slide. National Statistical Commission in 2005 actually recommendations of National Statistical Commission was published. A commission was set up in 2000 and that brought out a lot of recommendations to develop the Indian statistical system. How the statistical system should change. Under the chairmanship of Dr. Shri, the former governor of RBI, a committee was formed and it made so many recommendations. So as per those recommendations, we have done a lot of things. National Statistics Day, we were talking of P.C. Mohan's. Actually, Govt of India has decided to commemorate the birthday of P.C. Mohan as the National Statistics Day. Okay, 29 June every year we celebrate as National Statistics Day. So last year we celebrated 11th Statistics Day. Last year is this year, 2017. So this is National Statistics Day. Next slide. This is one thing I was talking about, the Collection of Statistics Act. So actually, when you go to field for collection of data, people will say a lot of things. We have got incidences in even Malda or in Uttar Chobbish Pargana district of the state. We have got the cases of the informants are so agitated they are getting the forms from you and then they're getting this peering the from out there in your face and going out. So to combat that particular thing, that particular menace, we have designed a Collection of Statistics Act. There is a central act that has been designed. Now nobody can deny you data. Any statistical functionary, statistical officer or statistical personnel who is going to the field for collection of data, every person or
This act is applicable only for
applicable for every
personnel of statistical department.
Definitely. So who is collecting data? Who is working in official statistics?
Yeah.
So who is formally collecting data for the government, not for individual researchers, right? So because government is collecting data for some purpose, for planning, for development of the nation. So if people don't cooperate in collection of that data, that becomes difficult for the government to prepare plans. So for that we have designed this Collection of Statistics Act, and in this act there is a penalty provision. If a person gives you false information, say suppose there is a factory, it's a big factory, which is you are doing a survey on annual survey of industries. You are getting data on turnover. You are getting the balance sheet of, from that guy, profit and loss accounts. You are getting from that factory. He is denied. If he denies, he can be put to jail even for 6 months. Right? There is a provision of rigorous imprisonment. There is a provision of penalty for of 5,000 rupees per day for each day of duty. Suppose you have to furnish data within 14 days. We are just serving a notice to the factory that this is the stipulated design of the questionnaire. You submit the data within 14 days. If you don't give it within 14 days, on 15th day we charge 5,000 rupees. On 16th day it will go up to 10,000. The next day it will be 15,000. And there is a fast track code to deal with these cases so that it doesn't get pending. So a suit will be opened, the person will be put in jail. But generally, we in socio-economic service, we are dealing with live human beings. Yes. So every now and then you can think of putting people in jail. So we believe in collection of data through persuasions, as we have been doing for long. From medieval period, the statistical data collection is going on. In British India itself, I just showed you that there was a organized statistical setup. We believe in persuasions, but till date there has been over 1,000 cases where the people have been jailed or have been fined for non-response, submission of false information.
But sir, they are common people. How can we convince them that we are from government, we are doing this research
Right,
for
right.
government purpose?
Right.
How can we convince them?
Actually, the design is, suppose you are doing annual survey of industries, you are first you are serving him a notice.
Okay.
Okay, so he's getting the notice. You are pretty late, madam. So you are serving him a notice. So he's in the notice itself. In the notice itself, what he has to do is stipulate it. And the 14-day period starts from the receipt of that notice. So suppose he is taking 1 day, 2 days to understand the thing, what he has to.
The notice we should prepare or the government will provide us? Means the statistical department.
Right, government will provide. There is a pre-designed format of the notice.
Okay.
Right, there is a pre-designed format of the notice, that is some factories or the households even, the economic units or anybody, maybe an NGO or maybe other units who is serving the notice, is getting the notice, getting the details, and either what we always tell them that you get in touch with us. If you cannot translate any particular thing into action, suppose you are not being able to understand what we are referring. So please be free to get in touch with us. We will help you out.
We can collect the notice from the divisional officer.
You can't do it. This is only for the government. For collection of official statistics only. But you can, well, definitely, if you think that you are doing a good research, right, and you want to get assisted by the government, so you can write to the nearest district statistics office, giving a formal submission of your proposal. Then government can help you out in collection of the data, right? But you yourself can't serve a notice under this particular act.
Yeah,
it is for the government departments, right? Next slide. So creation of Department of Statistics and PI, it is not now in operation. Just like I told, a few days back also there was a separate department for statistics, but now it is under Department of Planning, Statistics and Program Monitoring. So it was all about the first presentation. Is there any slide left? Are there slides? Either are no slide in? Okay, fine. So fine. So this we actually wanted to give you a short presentation on in-house assessment system, because later we will speak out different terms that you will not be able to understand unless you have the proper idea about the organizational setup. So next we will now you go to slide show.
As a researcher, how can we use this collected data by the government?
You will get it in the next presentation. I would like you to write down your questions, right? After you finish my presentation. In between you can well ask. If it is not covered in the presentation, then I will then and there respond to you. But if it is in the presentation, then I will proceed to the presentation itself. Right? So this is actually everybody of you who is planning a research work, PhD or MPhil research. Everybody is required to have data, statistical data for maybe through primary surveys, maybe through secondary surveys. You need data. And for collection of data, you need to follow certain specific design. Of a sudden, you can't do anything. As in the last example, we were talking about impact study of GST on the small business owners. If you are planning an impact study of GST on small business owners, then there should be a design. Who you are supposed to interview? Small business owners. So how will you select the business owners? I think your question was that. How we will select the particular business owners? What will be the procedure of selection? If it is in the whole of the state of West Bengal, whether every district to be covered? If every district is to be covered, whether all rural and urban areas to be covered? If all rural and urban areas to be covered, then whether all business small businesses of different nature, all trades. Different businesses are being operated different nature. Somebody is doing a trading job, somebody is manufacturing something. Small business, somebody is doing something else in a service sector enterprise maybe. So whether we want to cover all this, that has to be first specified. That's what we actually want to do. Depending on that, we will prepare the design, and we will reach the ultimate stage units. We call in statistics ESUs, ultimate stage units, that to be interviewed, the persons to be interviewed, right? So there should be a formal, proper procedure for reaching out to that particular ESUs. Move on to the slide. So first thing we need to do is objective of the survey. So if you patiently watch the slides and listen to if we interact, then you will definitely be able to successfully implement a particular sampling design in case of your personal surveys, independent surveys in the private sector even. So first thing, we have to start with an objective, that which thing we are working with. Like we told, GST and small business, that can be your subject. GST and small business. Then maybe show me other things. We can think of studying the impact of demonetization on the agricultural cultivators and agricultural laborers. We can think of carrying out a study on demonetization, impact study on demonetization. So many other things we can think of. In National Sample Survey, NSSO effort in the 74th round, NSSO conducts a socio-economic survey every year, and every year is considered to be a round of maybe 1 year. In certain cases, it's a 6 months duration survey. In 74th round, a survey on a particular services sector was conducted in the entire country. Right? Why services sector was chosen? Why Government of India thought of undertaking a survey on services sector? Because of its role in Indian economy. Many of you know that services sector gives us the highest share in GDP, right? So the highest share of GDP comes from the sector, but we don't have adequate data on that. But only the registered units from which we regularly get data on a routine manner through ASI, etc. We don't have data on small scale units in the services sector. We don't have any data on a barber who is shaving your beard, right? We don't have the data on a private practitioner in the medical services who is giving you services. We don't have data on a person who is renting out his decorator instruments for the festivals. These data are not with the government, but these sectors have enormous contribution in GDP, right? So, in due regard to the contribution of this particular sector in Government of India, in GDP, in the national income, Government of India thought of dedicating an entire round in collection of data in services sector, right? Next. Similarly, in the present round, in the 75th round, we are also working on a very interesting subject. We are doing survey on household consumer expenditure, what people eat in food, what people wear in clothes, in footwear, what people use in their consumer durables. We collect data on that. Household consumer expenditure. We collect data on, we are doing survey on household social consumption health and household social consumption education. Health and education are the two most important, the pivotal two areas which can even change the government. If you have a very good health infrastructure, education infrastructure, people are satisfied. So the people are not dying of dengue, not dying of dengue fever, chikungunya. So it's a very good health infrastructure. Education is very much developed in our state. Nobody is dropped out from school, right? So a developed education system, a developed healthcare system of a country actually signifies development of that state, of that country, right? So it's very important from the point of view of planning and policy making. So we are conducting a survey in the 75th round on social consumption, health and social education, along with household consumer expenditure, right?
What is the criteria to full household?
Right, we are actually going to explain that in the next slides. In the Indian presentation, we will show you how the household should be selected, how to reach that house. That is your job. It's the primary job. In a survey, how we will reach the household? What will be the procedure? Abruptly, we can't take 50 households for conducting our survey, isn't it? So there should be a procedure. So sample survey, therefore, as opposed to complete innovation, you know, as opposed to census exercises, it is very necessary that we have a defined objective and we have a definite sample design. However, in official surveys, always objectives are first decided, then sampling designs are decided. We first, government dictates. Suppose now we are doing work in Mission Nirmal Bangla in West Bengal, as is being done in Government of India, Swachh Bharat Mission, SBM, the SBM movement. So a lot of surveys, a lot of exercises are being done at the end of the Government of India and state government for Swachh Bharat Mission, Mission Nirmal Bangla. So the subject is decided. We need to know how many people are using toilets, whether all areas are open defecation free, and all that. So we need to conduct surveys. We need to have data on all this, right? Once objective is defined, we have come to the objective. This is our objective. Next, on the basis of data requirements, the principal investigator in the private sector, generally a senior professor may be the principal investigator. In the individual research, the researcher himself is the principal investigator. He has to decide about the inclusion and exclusion of different sectors. As in the Government of India survey, we are talking about a 74th round. For survey on services sector, Government of India excluded the government enterprises. You know why? Public sector units, air transport, financial and insurance, etc. They excluded from the survey because we already have data. We already have the data on these organized services. But we had to include cooperative societies, NPIs, the non-profit institutions, etc. Because we don't have, all NPIs are not registered even. So many NGOs come up every now and then, but they don't get registration. They are functioning, they are doing work in different areas. But we need to have data on that. So that were included in the service sector survey. And excluded, certain things were excluded. So your subject coverage has to be very carefully decided so that important things are not left out and avoidable things can be excluded so that you can save all your time. Am I clear? Yes. Please.
So when we are talking about the exclusion criteria,
right?
For example, air transport.
Right.
So if we will see like 2-3 years before, the disposable income was very low. People never could imagine to travel in air.
Right.
But now if we will see, the graph has gone up.
Right.
People are more comfortable in traveling by air rather than traveling through trains and other services.
Right. You are very right.
So do we really feel that this should have been excluded? And because I feel that this is now contributing more towards our economy.
Right.
Than